Welcome. No, not today.
No, not
No.
today.
Okay. I was trying to get her to do the intro. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the new leap forward thing. Yay. It's still kind of light out at 8 o'clock, which is kind of cool. You can't see the window, but it's nice. Um, so this is Conversations with the Katzes. I believe it's episode 3, 4. Closed Doors is actually the title. That's what I was given as a title there.
Okay.
Um, Closed doors. So basically, God says, tries to close the door and you try to reopen it. So that's kind of the general topic, but we're kind of bounce around a few different locations on that tonight. But we will be playing a video today as well from one of our good friends, Adelaide. I'm not sure when that's going to pop in, but it probably calls out with that. But yeah, it's a good song. It's been out for about, I think, a year now. I just hadn't really looked at it before. I knew it was there. I apologize. I didn't really sit down to watch it, and we watched it yesterday, and it'll make you cry, especially if you're going through a storm. So we will play that later. Now we'll be testing something new with the sharing of the screen, so we'll see how that works out. But they were talking about closed doors, and how that kind of works in that aspect. What are your thoughts on closed doors in that perspective?
Well, we had a situation with closed doors twice. I had an interview for a job all the way up north and northwest, and they said think about it, let us know the next day, and the very next day they found out they offered it to someone else. But keep in mind, prior to that, I said, Lord, if I'm supposed to do this job, then keep that door open. If not, close that door. Because housing was going to be kind of interesting for accessibility housing. Don't require a lot of accessibility, but I actually have to get in there and be able to get in the room and slide transfer and stuff. But that's about it. Doorways is about all I really need, and occasional bar.
Well, doorways and get in, doors to get in, minus stairs, bathroom, shower.
Yeah.
I can cook if needed.
But it could be a tub shower too.
Tub shower. Well, shower to be able to shower.
Yeah.
So the real basics doesn't have to be.
Yeah, when you work with other people, you need to be able to bathe. I don't like it if you don't. So, and then the next day is when I learned, after I prayed that, it's when I learned that they had given it to someone else. And I'm like, okay, prayer answered. I know where we're supposed to go. And then either later that day or the next day, they said the job had reopened and if I was still interested. And I'm like, sure. But meanwhile, in that time, I'd started doing budgeting classes, started running budgeting classes, was looking to do which I just learned that day, a speed networking thing, which is like speed dating, except you get people that would be in your network for your small business or anything to get on your team. And you would start running those. And then, and that's when I got the phone call that says, hey, it's still open. It reopened. Do you want to do this? And I was kind of like, Lord, if this is supposed to be, then, keep that door open, keep that, because I still don't have a good feeling about it, deep in my gut. And so I said, if I get it, then I know I'm supposed to go. If I don't, then I know I'm not. And I just found out today that it closed and they offered it to someone else, which is still okay.
They closed it again?
Yeah. Which is still okay, because, and keep in mind, this is a whole career change. I'm going from medical field into starting my own business. So
in ministry stuff.
in ministry stuff as well. So it's a whole different journey, career journey. So, and I think that he didn't just shut the door to that job; he shut the door to the medical career, which is okay. But it's also working on bringing some things to light that are things that have stopped me in the past from starting my own business and running my own businesses, insecurities, etc., self-sabotage, all that nice things. Or should I say not so nice things, but wonderful stuff. But closed doors is, there's a story behind that got enlightened since then, and that is the whole issue with the medical field. I've kind of touched on it before, but let me give you the full vision here. So we came down here for a travel assignment, and initially it seemed like there was bullying going on and stuff like that. A lot of people saying stuff about people without getting to know them and gossiping and all that kind of stuff. So, and I had recently stopped gossiping within the last year, I think, since God taught me to since God bridled my tongue. I gave control to him to bridle my tongue. There's no of my own control in that. And so that kind of bothered me and that aggravated me. And then it's like I stopped fitting in because I wouldn't participate, and things got worse and all that. And then I walked off of a income that I've never made in my entire life. So basically, moral of the story is, what God enlightened was, it was a test. The first test was, do you trust? Because I had a dream several years ago about coming to North Carolina, and there would be a storm. Well, we've had several storms. Our dogs were put down. One of them's gallbladder ruptured and all that. So anyway, it's not a poor us situation, but it's like, I'm giving this to you now, do your thing. And when the bullying started, it's like, okay. So I remember the first assignment where I felt like it was bullying was, I finally, about 4 weeks from the end date, 4 to 6 weeks before it ended, I said, Lord God, you got to handle this. I can't do this. You got to handle it. And I remember in my spirit, God replying, finally, and things got better and things changed. So then I went to the same town, different facility, after I completed my assignment and everything, and went to there, and things were good. And it's like, went to a different shift. Things started with the gossiping and all that kind of stuff. And then what God showed me along the lines was, and it has to be in order so you understand, was the gossiping occurred, and it's like I didn't participate. Normally I would have. My old me would have. My incomplete healed me would have. Mm-hmm. So then the next thing was, they were talking about some financial stuff, which, being a financial coach, and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. And I remember God saying, now you know why you're here. And I'm like, oh, Lord, they're not going to listen to me. So it's like, okay. So then the next thing was, when I stopped fitting in, are you gonna to participate and do the things you're not supposed to do just to fit in, to be accepted? And I didn't. Of course, things got worse. And then I finally did stand up for myself. And I walked away from more money than I've ever earned. Mm-hmm. And God spoke in my spirit the other day. It's like, are you willing to walk away? Do you trust money for your provision, or do you trust me for your provision? And I was like, oh, ouch. And so, I knew it was the right step. But now, and I've been trying to travel assignment because I thought it was supposed to be a travel assignment. No, we're still supposed to travel, but we're supposed to travel and teach financial piece. We're supposed to try to teach, and that's a Dave Ramsey thing. So I'm not stealing his name, the name of it. That is copyrighted under Dave Ramsey. It's his program. So, but I'm a Ramsey preferred coach. So teach that. Teach budgeting. Teach classes on budgeting. Teach classes even if they're on Zoom. Teach them on face-to-face. Teach on, debt snowball. Get people out of debt. Let people know the true cost of debt. Because I did something that was eye-opening, as being a financial coach. I made up a budget to show how to do a budget. And this made-up budget, they owed $1,940 a month in debt. Well, it was car payments, credit card payments, HELOCs, everything that you could think of. And if you take that money and you invest it and we're going to invest it for 5 years. Well, let's say that it takes 5 years to pay off your car loans and all the debt. Okay. And I did it for a 5-year, investing it at 7%. And the current is less than that, but overall for over the last, 10 years, it's been on average 10%. So 10 or 11%. So I did 7%, kind of split the difference. And it said that we would have $140,000 if we invested that total debt that we paid off. Instead of $96,000, we'd have $140,000. Instead of the cost of $96,000, we'd have $140,000 in our pocket. So then I did it for 25 years. I did it for 30 years, and it was $2.2 million. And I thought,
Wow.
So then I thought, okay. So I did it for 25 years because, that's that, and it was 1.5 million. So the true cost of that debt was not $96,000 that you paid. It was $700,000 in lost investments and lost income potential in compound interest. And I had to breathe. I had to tell myself to breathe. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot of money that's just getting thrown away into debt, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That could do something with.
So basically, it's a whole career change, and I had to learn to step out on my own 2 feet, and proverbially, he always makes fun of that because he's a power chair. I still used to say
6 wheels.
Yeah,
the wheels on the chair go round and round.
I had to roll out on my 6 wheels.
Sometimes when I drive through 3 wheels, that's a whole other topic.
It turns too fast.
Yeah.
But the thing is, do we trust God for these journeys and these storms? I didn't understand what I was going through what I was going through until afterwards. And I always say, glean from those storms the lessons learned. I had a little lesson the other day. So we were at Walmart getting our groceries, and I wanted a soda. And Jason kind of said jokingly, he put the money in, it wouldn't take it. And the other one, it kept spitting it out, and the other one wouldn't take it at all. So he's like, kind of smiled and goes, God said no. And I thought, yeah, right. Okay, whatever. Well, apparently he did, because he goes, you can go to the other ones across the way. And I said, okay. So I rolled, used my power chair, got over there. And I grabbed the soda, and it said 75 cents. And I put in $1. And it never gave me back my quarter. And in my spirit, God said, there's always a cost to disobedience. I then pushed for the quarter return for that exact reason. Because, apparently he wasn't lying when he said
God said no.
God said no. And that's a minor one, but it's got me to thinking, which is always a dangerous place to be in my head. But how many times have we been disobedient, and what was the cost? I'm not saying all storms we go through are because of our disobedience, or anything like that. Some of them are tests, some of them are trials, some are the enemy. We just have to take that storm. And, there are some limited ones that I'm not sure if you could even find. One that comes to mind, anyone who's lost a child. I have nothing to say what lesson you can learn from that. You know what I mean? I don't understand. So there are some limitations to this. So please keep that in mind. I'm not being insensitive, but I'm just talking the normal life, everyday life storms of, like what we went through.
Well, even just like Facebook likes to remind you of things that happened in the memories thing, and it came up 12 years ago. Today, Judy was on her way back from the closed door in Arizona. You're going to one more job, one more, and I'll do what you want me to do. And you shut the door.
Yeah.
And now today, 12 years later, we're doing this on that concept. When he closes the door, he closes the door. But it's just that walk we've been on, that role we've been on, to go from that 12 years ago to I got you. Just completely trusting in God and all that aspect. It's not where I thought we'd be. If you asked me 12 years ago when she was on her way back from Arizona, I've been like, no, this isn't. We would never be doing this. Shout out to Pastor Jerry here. You can attest that I never would have been thinking about doing seminary or going to Louisville or doing podcasts or doing a radio show. No, for Christ, not a chance. He closed that door, but he started to open the other door, and we still didn't really catch it until a little bit later, because I had started on my walk in 2011 with the Christian music and all that, and he started to open that door. I just had to go through it. Which is a joke in and of itself to a few people. I'm gonna leave that alone. If Brett's watching, he'll laugh. But it's amazing to see, like, when doors closed, it's like, when she left here, I was mad that it happened. At first, I was mad at her for it. But then he reminded me on my little drive from the apartment to the hospital, 10 minutes, I got this. And he was like, don't worry about this. It's not an issue to worry about. This is your next step. I'm like, okay. No, we saved and saved and saved, and we're doing okay. And, he's provided, in a variety of different ways. We got a local church here, 15 people, and they're supporting us in that, not supporting us, but we have a place to go to, local. I mean, and it's always great to be in with your, find a local church, to get in contact with. So if we didn't have that, I'm not sure where we'd be, in that aspect. He's providing so many doors to open, we're going to be doing an event out here in June. Who would have thought? We're going to create that, and we're going to plant that. He's using us to plant that seed. We don't know what it's going to create here, but he's opening the door out here. Yeah.
He's completely, since I walked away from that job, he's completely changed, because I had written a script in my head, and I reiterated it many times. I don't like people. People are unsafe. And it's hard to be a pastor's wife if you don't like people. So he's softened my heart a lot lately, and has helped me see people for people, instead of how I used to see people.
And oddly enough, we'll use your dog to show you that too. What I learned about faith from my dog. So our new dog, Penny, has that. She loves anybody, everybody. She has no qualms about anybody. She will walk up and say hi. no concern. She trusts everybody. That trust level that she has
Mhm.
is something I strive for. Oddly enough, just she doesn't know someone's gonna hurt her. She doesn't know how to read people like that.
She does. There's been a
Well-
couple that she's like, no.
Yeah. But in general, she's just happy to see everybody.
Yeah.
It's good to have that childlike love. Is what that is. But you got something? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you go.
So this is something I wrote back when I was going through a storm on basically November 10th. Storms in our spiritual life are like storms in the natural. Sometimes we have advance notice and sometimes they blow up out of nowhere, wreak their havoc and cause their damage and leave us to clean up the mess. But in the natural, let's say a storm damaged your home. Most of us have insurance that will fix our home, and with the newer technology, our home will be able to withstand stronger, more severe storms without being moved. Well, in the spiritual realm, the storms we go through tear away what we think protects our home, which is our spirit. But our insurance carrier is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He gives us the tools necessary to rebuild or walk away power what the storm destroyed through the Bible, reading the Bible, building our house back stronger than ever. We don't have to like the storms in our lives, but don't ever begrudge them because they make us stronger each and every day as we journey through this walk with Jesus. Remember, Jesus will never leave us nor forsake us. If you don't think Jesus sees our suffering in the storm, you are wrong. Sometimes our suffering is at our own hands through our attempt to create our future how we want it with our own works, whether it be through honest hard work, which is not led by Jesus, through manipulation of situations or people, schemes, lying, cheating, or stealing. God sees all of this, and he cannot support the behavior, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a storm of our own creation when the results are not what we thought they'd be. God always has the final say. If we say we are Christian and we say we follow Jesus, but do not have the actions to follow it up, God will touch our circumstances, creating a storm to get our attention, not because he's a mean God, but because he loves us. And we stopped answering his calls, deleted his messages, unread, and just plain old stopped listening. What do you do if your children stop listening to you? Most of you as parents will touch their circumstances because you love them, right? Why would our Heavenly Father who loves us dearly not do the same for us? For those of us following Jesus daily but do not listen and act disobediently to the words he gives us because we think we know better, look out, a crazy storm is coming our way, worse than we have ever seen. Ouch. For those of us truly walking with Jesus daily, obedient to his word, the storms will come, but we can have peace in them, in those storms, because we know and trust that God has us in the palm of his hands, and he will never leave us nor forsake us. If you can't hear Jesus speaking to you, pivot from where you are at and call out his name, for he is waiting for you to call on him to come. He has and is always very patiently waiting for us to come to the end of our arrogant selves and call out to him. I've experienced this recently at work with being bullied. After everything in my tool bag to fix the situation, I threw up my hands in the air, looked up and said, Lord, I give this to you because I got nothing left. To which God replied, finally. And then he went to work and things have gotten better. But it should not have taken me so long to call out to God. I should have called out to him immediately. Because through Christ, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And most importantly, God will never leave us nor forsake us. For those that have suffered great loss, I do not have words of wisdom for you of why your child died, why your spouse died, why your house left you. All I know is just call out to Jesus and listen. He is there waiting to walk through this pain with you. He may never understand why this has all happened. We may never understand why this has all happened. He knows, but we don't. We may never understand why this has all happened, but God does, and he really does love you. So just trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one thing you're good at is that writing thing. I can't write for nothing. I'm just gonna take a little break here. Not break, but like I was saying before about where we've been to where we're at. Just kind of watching the chat thing here as she was reading, and it's just, and I'll say it's mind-boggling. Just the fact, like, talking about the church down the street here. We got Pastor Jerry here from First Baptist in Orion, Illinois. They have Praise in the Park here on April 29th coming up. Adelaide's going to be playing there. We'll be playing later. We got Pastor Bill from First Church of God, our home church back there in Illinois, in Galesburg, chiming in here. Just the fact that we're here doing stuff and we got pastors, and they like me. Not sure why sometimes. No, not sure why she likes me sometimes. It just how he can work on things. And no matter how far you veer off that path, like you said, he's just there. He's with you. He's always been with you. In 2011 when I crashed the van, or when I got hit head on, I had just started the journey. And there's no way I should have walked away from that with nothing. He was there. He protected from that. So I mean, there's no explanation for how some stuff happens. But I said, but if he shuts a door, like we said, and I'm stubborn, I try to re-pry it open, even though he's deadbolt locked it, put a stop on it, and nailed it shut. I'm still trying to open it. Stubborn, but I've started to learn that when he shuts it, I need to listen.
Yeah.
Control freak that I am. I'm not gonna say someone. I'm not gonna say somebody else in here in the room is, but
Penny.
Yeah, a new DJ Penny, and she's a control freak too.
She's my dog. She is. Yeah. She wants to be fed all day long.
Yeah. She's asleep now. She's learned that when these things happen, we do these shows, that she takes a nap. It's good. Most of the time she does. Did you want to kick into that video or not yet?
Sure.
Okay. So I will go kick into this video. I already forgot the title. What really matters with Adelaide. That's going to be, they're going to be in Orion, Illinois on April 29th at Praise in the Park there. We came across this video. It's been out for about a year. We actually sat down and watched it the other night, and I bawled like a little baby. So I'm going to try to do, first time trying this, I apologize. I tried it earlier and it worked, but it's sharing the screen. So bear with me as I try to work that out. Should work fine. So give me 1 sec here. Let's see if I get the right one. And we should go ahead and get this, and I will see if it plays. So this one is Adelaide, and what really matters. It's a lyric video, but if you're going through a storm, this is definitely a song that will help get through and give you some hope. And it's an amazing song from Adelaide. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this and see if it works.
Look in the mirror and wonder who you are. Unrecognizable beyond the scars. You get back up and dust your feet again. Rekindle the fire stolen by the wind. But this time it's different. There's a piece of you that's missing, but you will make it through this. One breath, one step at a time. So don't you lose your will to fight. Just look how far you've come now. Your testimony's made of these uphill moments, but it's what comes after that really matters. It's hard to see beyond the testimony's made of these uphill moments, but it's what comes after. Oh, yeah. After the battle and after the pain, he's making and molding and shaping, unfolding a story. Oh, for his glory. Oh, though it may feel like it's all caving in, how could you ever make any sense out of this? But you will. Oh, you will make it through this. One breath, one step at a time. You just look how far you've come now. Your testimony's made of these uphill moments, but it's what comes after that really matters. It really matters.
One thing that was Adelaide with what really matters. That song. You should have had it at the end. So yeah. But shout out to Adelaide for that song there. But like I said, it's the uphills. I mean, you're gonna have uphills. And I always say you go from mountaintop to mountaintop. You forget about the valleys that are in between. But then sometimes those mountaintops get higher each time, but you have to let's go through that valley at some point. Right now we're kind of in that valley. Ish. Keep your eyes on. Is it?
We're on the uphill. We're on the uphill.
So they said, keep your eye. No, as Peter had, kept his eyes on Christ when he stepped onto the water. And when he noticed the wind coming, that's when he started having problems. He took his eyes off Christ. Keep your eyes focused on Him. So I know the scripture. I don't remember what location it's at. I couldn't give you the address. I am working on it. I promise. Yeah, it's keep your eyes on Him, and it's an uphill, but it's better than a downhill and stuck in the valley. If you're down in that valley, don't stay there. I mean, He's there. You don't want to stay there. Keep moving forward. As we said earlier in our FPU class, just keep moving. Keep moving forward. You might fall back a little bit. That's okay. 2 steps forwards, 3 steps. No, 2 steps backwards, 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
Or even the other way, 3 steps backwards, 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
You're moving.
Yeah.
It's like when you get stuck in the mud. You might just, you rock back and forth, but eventually you get out. But if you just stay there, you're going to sink.
Yeah.
So you want to just keep moving.
It's just, and I made a statement to Jason today after we were kind of struggling earlier today and stuff. Working, technology wasn't working. Again, I was putting in for more jobs. I'm still working the other stuff because I'm still not 100% sure he's absolutely 100% closed that door. I prayed that if I'm supposed to go back in the medical field, a job will open up. Otherwise, it won't. And so far, it hasn't. So I think I pretty much got my message. But
so far, just wait.
Yeah.
That's the answer I've been given, but I don't know if you will. I've been wrong many a times. She can attest to that.
But I have to, be still, but it doesn't mean that we just sit and do nothing. It means that we still move forward. And I know that He's told me that eventually this financial coach is going to be what I'm going to do. It's going to be my career as well as other things as well. That will be determined at a later date and time when He lets us know. And the financial coach can support us 100% and then some, but that's not where He wants me to stay fully either. He wants me to transition into other things as well. The thing I've learned with being here, and this is where God has softened my heart, is there's a lot of homeless people in this area. And how many times, as churches and as Christians and I'm including myself in this, guys, please, so I'm not calling anyone out. I'm calling myself out as well. How many times when we proclaim to be Jesus' hands and feet, do we feed them, we give them food, we feed their bodies. But do we ever stop and feed their spirit? Do we ever tell them that you're not what the world says you are? Your value isn't in where you live, what you drive, what you know or who you know. Your value is in who God made you to be. It's in your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to stop telling people that they're nothing because they're homeless, or they're nothing because they have an addiction, or they're nothing because of the other. God put them here for a reason. We met 2 wonderful homeless people that came up to our bus that literally are extremely well with poetry and extremely well with what was it, acronym?
Yeah, acronym.
She just spit those things right out.
Yeah, the acromentist, as she called herself.
Yeah, and she's got that talent there, and it's just amazing to see how God uses people, and how we've, as a society, we have, as a world, we've based people's value on their tangible things.
Mm-hmm. When you have a house, you have car, or what you have, not what you have or whose you have, or whose are you? Whose do you think you are?
Yeah, who?
That might that may or may not be the title of a book coming soon. Just throwing that out there. The Road to the Universe. I was he's already put that on us already. That there is a book in process that we're going to be working on. We will already be working on getting that out there. Like whose do you think you are? And you got to read that differently. Whose do you think you are? And who do you think you are?
Parentheses. It's WHO parentheses SE parentheses. Do you think you are?
Yeah. Whose do you think you are? And who do you think you are? Yeah. Yeah. We know who we are, and we're His. And it's humbling, when you think of it that way.
We did talk today, and I said, after struggling a lot lately, I looked at him and I said, now I know why people go backwards. We're not going backwards, guys, don't worry about it. But I now know what I never understood in the Bible when they said, and they turn back. And it's like, and don't turn back, and I'm like, why would anybody want to turn back? Well, it's, when you go through a storm after storm after storm after storm after storm, sometimes it's hard not to want to turn back. But I also know it's on the other side. During this last term of the job I was on, I wanted to turn back several times, but I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because the other side of this is glorious. It's freeing, and it's liberating. And I used to think, well, how can that be liberating when, the Bible says you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this in the Old Testament. Well, I haven't ever been more free, following Jesus. I was never that free in the world. I was controlled by money and what people said and this, that, and the other. And I have more freedom now than I have ever had walking with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's definitely been an interesting path, interesting journey. Not the band. As we go through this, it's where we've been. Is it go back? You can look back to where you're at, but that's why a rearview mirror is so small and the windshield so big.
Mm-hmm.
it's there. You know it's there. You keep looking at it, but we're not our past. I don't regret where I've been. I don't want to change. I wouldn't change anything because that's. I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. We wouldn't be here today. Because if you changed it, but if anyone's watched Quantum Leap, I mean, it doesn't change anything. There's a domino effect of changes. Or Back to the Future, you change one thing changes other. I wouldn't change anything. Because I don't know where I'd be if that had changed. And I may have had got knocked down, kicked, pushed down the hill, but I just got up and brushed. Might not have brushed myself off right away. Wallowed in it for a while, but then eventually, found whose I was. And then once I realized that.
But even the more you get knocked down, the more you have more bounce back ability. I think. Because it's like, yep, I got knocked down again. Let's just put one foot in front of the other. Let's get back up, brush ourselves up, and go again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't regret. I remember praying once when we first got here. I said, Lord, if you're gonna prune me, just prune me all at once. Just get it over with. Let me deal with the pain and move on forward. That night I had a dream that I was in the bathtub. I was at my parents' house in the bathtub, and there went to reach in to drain the water, and there was a dead person in there, and he informed me that would be me if he pruned me all at once. Not that I wouldn't be able to bear it. In other words, I wouldn't be able to withstand it.
Let's say if you prune a bush, you don't just cut it down to nothing. You do a little bit at a time, and it grows stronger. Then you cut a little bit more, grows fuller, and consistently that way. If you do it all at once, it can be too much. Can he get you through it? Absolutely, but it's a better.
But he knows me better than I know myself. So.
I think I don't even know myself. So yeah, it's definitely a slow prune, and that's okay. It's 9 years ago, this time it's peeing in a frozen toilet, because basically I have a place to stay. Now I'm sitting in North Kakalaki. Orlando calls it North Kakalaki. I don't know how to spell that either. I can say it, but I can't spell it. But now we have a freeze warning, so we're getting down to 27 tonight. But still, we have heat, we have lights, we have running water. It's not frozen. Well, we do, but it's in the freezer and it's an ice cube, and that's what it's supposed to be. To here, I said I don't know if I would change that. I don't think I would change that. Our friend that called and talked to me that when I was this summer, when we were back there in that same place, and he talked me off the ledge. I mean, I probably would have if I didn't have that conversation. I probably wouldn't be here. I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't change anything in the past. But the pruning is definitely needed. Just it hurt, but it's better to feel the pain a little bit with that hurt than to not feel anything at all. Because you're not around here, kind of deal. That got deep and dark. I'm gonna leave that alone. But it's so bad. I just want to play that song again. We may end it with that again. Anything else you want to kind of call it a night?
Well, just understand that anytime there's storms out there is blue skies on the other side. We have the perfect. It's going to be in the book. The perfect photo of a storm. And it was taken, and I remember specifically my spirit saying, kind of almost catatonic state, saying to the bus driver that, we had good, deep conversations on the trip to work. And I remember telling him when I saw that, I looked at it, and he's like, that's beautiful. And I said, yeah, and remind me that there's a blue sky behind that horizon of dark skies. That there's blue at the end of that, a nice blue sky at the end of that storm. And I just knew in my spirit that there is a message in that. And 2 days later, we put my service dog down.
Yeah.
So, there's always blue skies on the other side of the storm. And it may look brutal, and it may do a lot of damage, and you don't know how you're going to get through it. But you just, and where's the song? You just need to hang on. He's working it. He's working it out for you. He's, whether it's building our character, whether it's moving us a different direction, because we refuse to move. I have already talked about this on another show of ours, but it's worth saying again. We had a thing about impostering beliefs and limiting beliefs and imposter thoughts. And going through that helped me move forward. I had to feel that pain of what I really thought of myself and my value before I could move forward. I had to bring it up to the surface, let God handle it, and deal with it before I could move forward, to move past the fear. Because that's what my fear was based on, was, literally false evidence appearing real. It's like, and, the one thing I love, sorry, I like what he said.
I mean, what Pastor Gary said?
Yeah, Pastor Gary said. Yeah. We just need to trust. We need to trust that he knows what he's doing. We a lot of times will run from pain, and we need to run into pain. As far as within reason. I don't really want to say that. Can I take that back?
I don't know if I could edit a live video. I could try, but I don't think that would work.
What I'm saying is, if you have a pain point and you're running from it, evaluate it. Evaluate why. And I hope, Jerry, you don't bother me get upset with me reading this, but I really like what you wrote. It says, tell folks how they too can be part of God's amazing journey, that they will be blessed in the most by choosing to be a real ambassador for Christ. Find your purpose in him. Praise the Lord. And that is absolutely true. Find your purpose. And just ask God to show you what his purpose for you is.
Yeah. Well, like I how God works with connecting folks. Like I was talking, we were looking doing an event out here this summer, and we talked to Pastor Wilson or Pastor Scott, and as I was doing the show, I was like, there was an article that was written about all the churches in Gaston County and all that. Beautiful article, not a happy article when you really read it from a sociology point of view. I'm like, how do I get in contact with this guy? And this is after church, and he all of a sudden he sends me a text message with the guys with Dwayne's contact info. And I just talked to him this afternoon, and his purpose is Jesus. Right now he's an interim pastor at one of the churches here in town. Which one he said? I apologize, but he'll go preach at a variety of churches. He's always doing, trying to unite churches together and all that type deal. That's his purpose. He goes, and we were talking. He goes, I just love connecting people. And that hit hard with me. Not hard, but connected with me. I do that a lot. I connect with people. I connect people. And I've done a lot of connecting in that aspect. And then I fade off into the darkness sometimes, not like into the shadows, and they do their thing, and that's okay. Sometimes that's your purpose, is to connect folks and show them to their purpose. but it's good to see that there's somebody else out there that does the same thing. But find what your purpose is, and then just go with it. And you may not be the one on the stage, in the light. You know, you might be the sound guy in the back. You might be the one welcoming people at the front door. You know, when they come in.
But everybody has a purpose.
Yeah. Like we've had people at one of the churches went out to here. You know, he's the head of security for all of the campuses that are in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike's amazing with his connection with folks. You know, and that's his purpose is the security aspect, but his other purpose is connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
And making them feel welcome in that aspect. That's his purpose. He's not the guy on stage singing. He's not the guy preaching. He's not the guy, doing whatever, teaching the youth. He's the security guy. Standing, that's his purpose. But he's also to connect with people. So he found his purpose and he excels in it. And that's what we got to do is find our purpose and excel in it. And whatever that may be, Mine is eventually going to be kind of I'm going to fall off into the shadows as someone emerges out. I'm not going to say who. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to point. But so we're coming up on the end. Do you want to do one more play the video again?
Yep.
For all that beautiful bean footage.
Yep.
I'm sorry. heard it once. Now it's stuck in my head. Was it Pastor Scott that said that?
I don't remember. Yeah, something like that. But it has to do with we were teaching FPU earlier today, and I was trying to scroll the screen that he was sharing, and we were on two separate computers, and so I was kind of like trying to. So I said, "Scroll that screen or something." I told him, I said, "I so badly want to say roll that beautiful bean footage."
And oddly enough, I could hear her in the background with the mouse moving when she's trying to move the mouse. And I just sat there for a few seconds. Yeah, it wasn't in a mean way. It was
Technology is not my thing.
She can do hard things. She can take $1 million machines apart. But
yep, and I can figure out how to turn the clock back on the computer before you got a virus, but I can't figure out how to put minutes on my phone.
So, once again, this is, I should probably do a little station identification too. This is a conversation with the Katz here. The topic was closed door. I believe I don't know, it's third or fourth episode. Should be able to count past 2. I do have a college degree. But I have 5 fingers. But
somebody's saying I have 4.
I knew somebody that had, I went to school the guy that had 6. That was bad. But this is a conversation with the Katz here on Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. Our goal here is just to go out to communities and stuff. We're doing our outreach events to be a beacon of light in that darkness. Going out to some places that others might not go to and reach them with music. Jerry, you're a Christian geek.
He says he's a Christian. He says I'm a
Christian geek.
So am I.
Yeah. Just going to throw it out there again that Adelaide, we're going to play that video again here, April 29th in Orion, Illinois. They're going to be there. I'm not sure who's going to be headlining per se. I know Christ always headlines. But it's going to be Outlaws for the Cross, Adelaide, and 3 Days Under. And that's going to be Praise in the Park in Orion, Illinois, April 29th. You can contact me, Outlaws for the Cross, Adelaide, or 3 Days Under, or Pastor Jerry here as well. If you have any questions about information, times, there is I did share it on Facebook on there. So that is out there. It's going to be a good event. Got a little rock and roll, contemporary Christian, some nice hard rock and roll, and then some hip hop, country hip hop. So a little bit of everything there. And once again, we are doing on April 1st our little it's 12-hour marathon from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We have about 9 or 10 artists that we're going to be chopping up with for about 15 minutes at the top of the hour, starting at noon. Just talking about them with them a little bit. and then they're gonna play a couple. If they have videos to play, new videos, and there's a new couple artists that are debuting videos within that week or so. Play or just display the audio. Depends what they have available. And that's a fundraiser for us here. We'll have that available. And we just did get our QR code that takes you right to it, and we did update that as well. Our Giving Fuel page. It's all through ACT, Arts and Christian Testimony International. It's a organization out of Nashville that takes organizations like us and brings them into their under their wing, I guess you can say, and help build our ministries up to get our 501c3 going and with them. So shout out, we appreciate them. We got some really big folks that are involved with that. One of that gentleman we work with was part of a pretty large band back in the 80s and 90s. Not going to name drop or anything, but yeah, it's kind of cool when you tell people you're talking to them like, him, really? I'm like, yeah, he's just the guy that we talked to. He's humble. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and I'm going to share that video again. Adelaide, what really matters, and we'll end it with that. Anything else before I click on to that?
No, just pray.
Oh, there you go. I pray? Okay, I'm going to pray before we head to that video. Lord, I pray that I get this thing to work on the second time around. Oh. Lord, I thank you for the time here. Those that joined in, whether popped in for a second, popped in for the whole time. Hopefully somebody here gets something out of that. If they do, that's awesome. Hopefully if somebody watches it in the future, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook here, we have it. Just hope that this reaches somebody somehow, somewhere. So we don't do this for our good, we do it for your good, because we know that you are working through us to get to them. So they can see that light that exists there, that is you. Just helping people get to that light there. We do thank you for everything that you've provided us and those that have been able to watch. We pray that if there's anyone out there that needs prayer, that they can reach out to us, reach out to any of the pastors that have been watching, or any of their local pastor at their church, or just a church if they don't have one, they go find one and reach out to them as well if that's needed. Once again, we appreciate all that you have done and you will continue to do on this journey we go through from mountaintop to mountaintop. And we will not forget about you in those valleys. We know whose we are. We are yours. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Okay. Let's share the screen.
And everybody have a great night too.
Look in the mirror and wonder who you are. Unrecognizable beyond the scars. You get back up and dust your feet again. Rekindle the fire stolen by the wind. But this time it's different. There's a piece of you that's missing, but you will make it through this. One breath, one step at a time. So don't you lose your will to fight. Just know how far you've come now. Your testimony's made of these uphill moments, but it's what comes that really matters. It's hard to see beyond the broken road and find the strength to take the hand of hope. I pray you will find peace in the midst of your suffering. Oh, but you will make it through this. One breath, one step at a time. So don't you lose your will to fight. Just look how far you've come now. Your testimony's made of these uphill moments, but it's what comes after. Oh, yeah. After the battle and after the pain, he's making it molding and shaping, unfolding your story. Oh, for his glory. Oh, though it may feel like it's all caving in, how could you ever make any sense out of this? But you will. Oh, you will make it through this. One breath, one step at a time. Just look how far you've come now. Your testimony's made of these uphill moments, but it's what comes after that really matters. It really matters.
Okay, once again, it was Adelaide. What really matters. We're going to end it out with that tonight. Thank you all for watching. Those that have staggered in toward the end of that video. Once again, we appreciate y'all, and we will be back again next week. Do you want to show that video, that picture?
Oh,
Is that what you were doing?
yeah. It's well, how do I get back to it?
Hold on.
Again, I'm not technologically safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder you only have one. So we can see that. Does that work? Can you kind of see that?
There's a big glare.
Yeah.
You don't get the sense.
Yeah, it's still you can see that some darkness on there.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's how we're gonna end the show, I guess. Some technological disadvantage.
Yeah.
But we will be back again next week. It should be next Monday. Same time, 8:00 Eastern. We are going to try to work on getting some other guests in here, so it's not just us talking every time.
Yeah.
She's getting tired of talking to me all the time.
I'm trying to come up with topics to talk about.
If you have ideas for topics, drop them in the comments.
Yes.
But once again, thank you again to Orlando, Pastor Jerry, Pastor Bill, that joined in on that. Anyone else, if you didn't chime in, I wasn't able to tell if you were there. I know there were numbers, but I just didn't see the names. Once again, thank you again. This is Quake Our Whiskey Praise News. This is Conversations with the Katzes. You can find us at quakeradio.com. Look forward for look up to that updated website that's coming soon, and hit that donate button on there to take you to our link through ACT International. That's now been updated again. Once again, we're trying to just go out and share the gospel with folks. So you all have a good night, good rest of your week, and it's a weekend. It's Monday. Take care, y'all.
Bye-bye.